Well, this week we saw a major tectonic shift in economic world power, and Putin and China just scored another devastating blow to the West. We are watching it unfold in real time right before our eyes. This is a major shift away from the US dollar, away from US hegemony, and over to the BRICS nations, led by Russia and China. Of course, the mainstream media is once again hiding it from you. I'm not being hyperbolic, guys. This is as big as it gets. We'll get to that in a minute, but first, the Biden administration on a Friday just landed some jaw-dropping US dollar news, jobs data, and warning bells for the US economy. They were trying to hide it, of course. You always release bad news on a Friday, but we're not ignoring it. We're going to dive into all of this today. So thanks to the nearly 2.5 million of you who are subscribed to this channel. We publish multiple videos per week. We're live every day at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're not already subscribed, we'd love for you to do so, and we'd love for you to join us on our daily show. Well, we'll get to Putin and BRICS in a moment, but first, what the Biden-Harris administration is trying to hide from you.
No.
It's now being called Kamala's carnage. As borders are, she oversaw the large mass illegal immigration invasion, the largest one in American history. And just like that, we got Friday's jobs report. And holy shit, carnage is putting it nicely.
Stocks slid Friday with all three major indexes down and the S&P posting its worst week of the year. It comes as the latest jobs report fell below expectations.
Just so you have some context here, in January, we learned that in the past few years, native-born Americans have lost 1.4 million jobs. Those jobs were replaced by illegal immigrants. But not just replaced those 1.4 million, no, replaced and added a total of 3 million. As Zero Hedge posted on X back in January, how is this not the biggest political talking point right now? Well, that was January. And now Friday's jobs report was devastating for America. First, the number of employed workers did rise by 168,000. But when you look closer at the data, you notice it's disastrous. That's because it consisted of an increase of 527,000 part-time jobs, with a loss of 438,000 full-time jobs. That's terrible. But it gets far worse, because this means that since last June, the United States has added just over 2 million part-time jobs and lost over 1.5 million full-time jobs. And those part-time jobs are not being filled by Americans. They're being filled by illegal immigrants. Again, non-native citizens, foreign-born non-native citizens. But it gets even worse, because the number of job holders that had to get multiple jobs has also jumped above 8.5 million. This is an all-time high. And Kamala Harris is painting all of these people with multiple jobs as a good thing for America. But she can try to spin it any way she wants, that there's more Americans getting jobs. No, they're getting multiple jobs because they can't afford to put groceries on the table. The data doesn't lie. This is from August. Look at the hiring of foreign-born workers versus Americans. This is all part of their plan, guys. Just so you understand the numbers. In the past month, the U.S. added 635,000 foreign-born immigrant workers, while losing 1.3 million native-born American workers. This was tied for the biggest one-month drop in native-born workers since the COVID crash. We are being replaced. But it's not just the past month or two or three. As Zero Hedge reports, the U.S. has not created a single job for native-born workers since July of 2018. And in that interval, it has created 4.7 million jobs for immigrants, both legal and illegal. Now, this gap first started right here at the start of the Biden administration and has now exploded. This is why the NASDAQ dropped 3% on Friday, and in just 10 days, the Fed is going to slash interest rates, further devaluing the US dollar. Of course, the other big piece of the story is what just happened with Russia, China, and Turkey this week. This is truly devastating for the US dollar dominance. Turkey has in recent years, of course, grown much closer with Russia and China and other BRICS nations. Well, this week, Turkey did the unthinkable. Announced it's officially joining BRICS, dropping the US dollar as its reserve currency of choice. I like how ResponsibleStatecraft.com put it on their news coverage. Turkey's BRICS gambit is just what Russia ordered. I hope you understand how important this is. Turkey, a NATO country, is saying we're done with the United States dollar. We're done being bullied by the United States and the banks like the IMF and the World Bank that are run by the United States. If we want financing for a big project, we're going to Russia. and China. Quote, one reason for the formal application to BRICS was that the geopolitical center of gravity is shifting away from developed economies. That one sentence from Turkish officials says it all, just one sentence. So Turkey will be added as a BRICS member in October. And this comes just months after adding Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and the United Arab Emirates. The center of the world is quickly moving away from Washington, D.C. Many of these nations are seeking to diversify away from the United States dollar quickly because they see a significant risk to their economies if the U.S. economy collapses, which is looking increasingly likely with all of these multiple data points. Last week's data shows us that credit card debt is at a record high in the United States, savings at a record low. That's not a good combination. And the dollar store and Dollar General stores can't sell anything.
Wow, a quarter of its value being cut off. Well, okay.
Sales plummeting. All of the warning bells are going off right now across the United States. So in 10 days, the Fed starts slashing rates, driving down the value of the US dollar. Countries are jumping ship, joining BRICS, and Turkey officially joins Russia and China in October before the United States election. Buckle up, because relying on the US dollar is asking for disaster. So that's the news update part of today's video. Now I want to talk about today's sponsor, which is tied directly to the decline of the US dollar and decentralization of the currency. And that company is DeFi Technologies. We'll have more on that in a second. But first, some context. On July 27th, 2024, I sat there for 48 minutes straight and listened to an unbelievable speech. It was pure common sense. And it doesn't matter if you're a supporter or not. President Trump's speech on Bitcoin and decentralization was eye-opening. I'll link it below in the description so you can watch the full thing if you'd like to. But he perfectly encapsulated one of the most important trends of the next decade, decentralization. And I want to say it without qualification. DeFi Technologies is my only large-scale investment in the cryptocurrency industry right now. And it's a wonderful business. So let's get right down to it. In 2024, Bitcoin is up 30%, not too bad. In 2024, DeFi Technologies, the company we're talking about, is up 260%. So, not exactly apples to apples. Now, since September 2023, Bitcoin is up 115%. That's great, but DeFi Technologies is up 2,714%. So just so you understand, in the past 5 years, Bitcoin is up 471%, and DeFi Technologies is up 6,400%. So here's what hedge fund manager Eric Jackson had to say about DeFi Technologies. Now, this is a very technical paragraph, but you've got to listen to this, okay? I want to quote it exactly, but pay attention. I know it's a little technical here, but pay attention. He says, quote, as of June 11th, Robinhood's 2024 forward P/E multiple was 43.5x, and Coinbase was 34x. Blended, this is 39x forward P/E multiple, which should be applied to DeFi Technologies to value the company. So if you use 250 million shares and management's implied but not official 2024 earnings number of 132 million with a 39x forward multiple and include the 70 million in net cash, you get a current implied share price today of $20.87 per share instead of the $1.60, suggesting the stock is currently valued at 1/113th its fair market value. I know that was a lot. Are you guys with me? Just so you understand what Eric Jackson just said of EMG Capital, what he's talking about here is a 2,000% move, a 2,000% move for DeFi Technologies. He even said it on Fox News. So the other day, one of you guys wrote to me and said, how much higher can DeFi go? Well, Eric Jackson just gave you his answer. Now, when I began covering DeFi Technologies in June, the price per share was 80 cents. 80 cents per share. Today, the share is quoted at $1.73 as of this recording, yet the valuation is now cheaper, as you'll soon see. But before I get to that, I would like to take my time picking apart the masterful speech that President Trump just gave. And it shows you how this country, the greatest to ever exist when it comes to innovation business, should treat its industry. Number one, Mr. Trump began by complimenting and elevating the talent and the genius of the cryptocurrency visionaries, while equating them to the steel magnates at the turn of the 20th century. And in just 15 years, Bitcoin made its way from concept to the 9th largest asset class in the world. The best line during the speech was this. He said, cryptocurrency will be mined, minted, and made in America. He coined this phrase also, build the future, not block the future. And he wants this to be completed within the first 100 days of his term. Now, I've held back the urge to update you on DeFi Technologies for the past month because I wanted to wait and hear their earnings call first before I came back to you guys, and I believe you should hear it as well. If this is your first time learning about DeFi Technologies, I want to help explain what this company does to generate so much revenue and drive such impressive net income. So DeFi Tech announced their second quarter 2024 financial results on their earnings call, achieving its strongest financial quarter to date. That's the big headline here. But the main business driver is the 100% owned Valor Asset Management Company. They own this, that provides ETPs for the cryptocurrency industry in Europe, and now it's expanding to new frontiers as well. ETPs are the European version of an ETF. Now, the key to success of this business is that Valor obtained their licenses early for this. And this regulatory process takes years for new people who want to get involved. So Valor can be the leader while competitors are still tied up with red tape. Like, even if BlackRock wanted to try to get in on the ETF or ETP game for crypto, it would take years to go through the licensing and regulation process for them. And so Valor was way out in front of this, and DeFi owns them. Now, the real kick to revenues, though, and extreme profitability comes from DeFi's infrastructure, because the company earns 8 to 10% on assets under management through a combination of management fees, staking, and lending. If you have any friends in the financial industry, just ask them if any company, any fund, or any ETF provider earns 8 to 10% on asset under management, they'll be flabbergasted. They'll be like, what? What? Really? No. This didn't satisfy the management, though, and when the chance arose to build an arbitrage trading desk from scratch, they also took it. So in the span of a few short months, the division has generated $97 million in revenues, this new arbitrage trading desk that they have as well. On top of all of that, the company owns Reflexivity Research, which is a profitable consulting firm founded by friend of the show, Anthony Pompliano. Now, Pomp is a shareholder of DeFi Technologies as well. Here's a quick overview of its valuation as of today, as of this recording on this Sunday. The market cap, $657 million. Cash on hand, $40 million. Treasury, including crypto holdings, is $15 million. The enterprise value, $600 million. So if DeFi Technologies generated a net income of $66.5 million in the recent quarter, then the company's PE ratio is 3. 3. You've got some thinking to do now on your own about this company. Please, guys, do your own due diligence on this company. I'll link below to their website, their latest earnings report, and don't forget to watch President Trump's speech that is also linked below. And we will see you next time, everyone.